Good afternoon. I would like to welcome the audience who have joined us in the live session today with Mr. Shounak Paul. We hope you learn and get to take back as much as you can from this session. You can ask questions whenever you feel like. I would also like to welcome our speaker for today's session, Mr. Shounak Paul, who has completed his B.Tech in Biotechnology from SRM Institute of Science and Technology in the year 2014. And since then, he's been working in life sciences industry. Currently, he has an experience of around 5 years and is working as a senior clinical data specialist at IQVIA.
Hello, everyone. Should I start?
Yes, sir, you can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So, my name is Shounak. So, as she told, so I completed B.Tech from SRM in 2014. So, since then, I have been working in life sciences industry. So, I would like to just give you a brief idea. Actually, life sciences industry job means everyone thinks about working in a wet lab or in some lab or something like that. So I would like to tell you all there is a different field to life sciences. I mean, there's a different section of life sciences, uh, which is not a wet lab job, but it is a job, and it is a. I mean, it's well paid. Actually, everyone thinks that if you are a fresher in life sciences, you don't get good salary and all that. So I just joined here, and I mean, since I'm working here, I would give you a small idea on how it is and how is the pay scale, like for freshers, how is it, and even the companies which are there, and there are a lot of companies, I would say, and these companies they hire from campus as well. So I would just give you a small idea on that, and if you have any questions regarding this, you can always ask. So I would see there is a field which is called as clinical research. Okay, that field it's clinical research field. So what this field deals with is related to drug development. Okay? Drug development means you don't need to develop drugs or anything. The drug development part is the manufacturing of drugs that is done by the pharma companies. So they hire production people. That is wet lab part. Okay. So other than that, this part which I'm talking about, which is called as clinical research, it mainly deals with clinical trials. So I mean, what kind of clinical trials? If you ask me, I would say like these drugs which the pharma companies manufacture. Before these drugs come into the market, they need to be tested, right? So like clinical trials should be done for those drugs before they are into the market. Unless and until you test a drug on a human being, you cannot and get approval from the authorities. You cannot bring that drug into the market. So this field is all about that. So the main thing in this is that these clinical trials are not performed in India. Okay, I mean it's banned in India. Now the government is working towards it to make it legal or to legalize. Previously, it was legalized. I mean, a long time back. Even I was not working that time. So now it's illegal. So, but currently it is the government is working on legalizing this clinical trial in India. So what happens in this is that like once a pharma company, like I'll give you an example. Suppose Novartis, okay, a pharma company. I'm saying Novartis. Suppose. So Novartis prepares a drug, okay. So once they prepare it before it comes into the market, there should be a clinical trial for that. So these, what the company, pharma company does is that they will select sites. Okay, sites here refer to hospitals or any institution where trials can be done, and they have a proper facility to conduct clinical trials. So these sites, what they do is, suppose it is a oncology trial. Okay, suppose a cancer trial, and the drug which is being tested is for cancer. So what happens in that is, so the sites what they do, like in a study there will be, it depends on the study actually. There can be 100 sites, 200 sites, or even 400, 500,000 sites it can be. Okay, maybe more also, or maybe less. So what these sites they do, they start recruiting patients or subjects, you can call them as. Okay, So what the subjects will be such that they are suffering from the disease. In this case, they are suppose they are suffering from cancer. So what happens is that once these subjects are recruited, the trial is starts. So once the trial starts, like there is a visit schedule. Okay, like I would explain it in a simple way. Suppose today you have to go to the doctor. He gave you a medicine. So today is your first visit, and then the doctor told you that after 4 days you have to visit again, or you have to come again to the hospital or clinic or whatever. So that will be your second visit. So similarly, like this, different studies have different number of visits. There can be 30 visits, 40 visits, like that. So what the pharma company does is this clinical once these clinical trials are going on, so there are data, okay, related to this trial, like all the subject data or the patient data who is taking part in the trial. So all these data are collected by the pharma company. Okay, so what they do is like they outsource this process. Outsourcing is like they give this process to a third company who deals with the entire trial, and the final result is given to the pharma company after the trial is completed. Okay, so these companies, these third party companies who are working on the trial or who are appointed by the pharma company, they are called a CRO. Okay, the full form of a CRO is Contract Research Organization. Okay, these are called CROs. So there are various CROs. There are a number of CROs in India as well as abroad, and they hire people. Okay, this is I'm working in a CRO, so I would tell you a few names of companies who are CROs, like IQVIA. I'm working in. There are other CROs like Paraxel. There are CROs like Cartesian. You can say a lot of CROs are there. These are contract research organizations. So these are third party companies to whom the pharma company outsources the entire clinical trial process. So what, and there are different fields in this clinical research or in this clinical trial. So it's like different fields, and people work in different fields. Okay, like I'll tell you what all fields are there. So, there is one field called as clinical data management. There is another field called as pharmacovigilance, and there is a third field, I would say you regulatory affairs, and there are fields like operations field. Okay, operations deals with the entire process related to the trial. Okay, entire process means like site related process. Okay, and there are various roles and responsibilities of the different people taking part in this in a trial. Okay, even if you are working in a CRO and in a specific trial, if you're working, so you have different you have a specific role related to the trial, and there are a lot of documentations. The main part in this is documentation. Okay, so I'll say you I am into clinical data management, so I'll just brief you on what is the work I'm doing, or what is it about. See, these data which are collected by the sites, all the subject related data and everything, okay, everything related to the trial, all those data, they will come to us. We are called as clinical data managers. Okay, so those data will be coming to us or the CRO. So if you are working in a specific project, or that is, in our terms, it is called as a study. Okay, so if you are working in a specific study, so you'll get those data. So once you get those data, what you have to do, what is your work is, you have to uh, like when a site is entering data into, actually there is a database. Okay, for every trial there is a specific database. Like that is a this is actually a huge topic, so I'll just explain you in brief. There is a database, so all the data is entered into the database by the site or the site person who is present. Okay, so once those data are entered into the database, it is not possible for a site to enter all the data which are, to be correct to the data which are entered in the database to be correct. Okay, so there are some problems in the data. Some data is missing, or some data is incomplete, or mm, maybe some abnormal data they have entered. I'll give you an example. Suppose like there is a data for heart rate. Okay, which a site has entered into the database. Okay, suppose they have given the heart rate as maybe 300 400 beats per minute. Okay, that is not possible, right? That is something abnormal. So once you get this data from the site, uh, you need to validate the data. Okay, validate means you need to check if the data is correct or wrong, if the data is complete or not. And once you do this, so that is one important part of your task. Okay, so you need to validate the data. Okay, other than this, there are different process, other things, like I'll tell you, there are some terms. Okay, I'll tell you: adverse events, some terms, adverse events, serious adverse events. If you need any information related to this, you can always contact me. Adverse events, serious adverse events, then SAE, reconciliation. These are some of the terms which are used, and these are some of the terms which are related to your work. Okay, so and I would say you one thing: if you are looking for a, once you pass out of college, if you are looking for a job, I am saying this because while I was in college, I had no idea about this field. Okay, I literally had zero idea. Okay, so through college recruitment process, I got job in some company in Hyderabad. Okay, I'll say you. That was a different a publication company. Okay, I joined there, but then it was not something which I liked. Okay, some that I didn't like that work. So I was looking for something related to life sciences, and I didn't want to go to wet lab. So I wanted to join in some company, and I am not interested into IT. I'm telling you, I'm not interested because I am not really good into programming and all that. So I was searching for this, and then I really knew no one. So I just somehow, like through Google or through internet, somewhere from the internet, I got to know about this field. So what I did is, like, I tried to contact some people because I knew no one. Okay, and before before our batch, I don't think there are a lot of people who are working into this field. You will find many people who are working in medical coding and all that. Okay, but medical coding is again a different thing. Medical coding is good, but the problem is medical coding, the salary that they pay you as a fresher is really less. Number one. Number two is the work is very bad. Not bad. I would say bad. The work is very boring. Okay, it's very boring. Like if you work continuously on the same thing day after day, you'll really will get bored of it. So that work is really boring. So I got to know about this field. Then what I did, I just googled through it. Like I wanted to know about it. What is it? So then I got to know about this clinical research field. Okay, this field is clinical research. So what happened is, like, there are several institutes which provide certification, okay, on this certification on clinical research, clinical trials, or clinical data management, or pharmacovigilance, or there is one more thing which is called as medical writing. Okay, so these are the different domains of clinical research. You can work in any domain which you are interested in: clinical data management, pharmacovigilance, medical writing, regulatory affairs. So uh, I got to know about this, and then I googled about it, and then I saw, like, found out few companies, like, they're really good companies. Okay, so if you go through Google, you will find, like, you just search about top 10 CROs in India. You search like that, you will get to know about what all companies are there. So right now in India, the number one company is IQVIA. Okay, and other than IQVIA, there is number two is Covance, there is Paraxel, there is PPD. There are various companies. Okay, so uh, I was searching for this, and then and the best part about this is they hire freshers. Okay, all of these companies, they hire freshers. It's not like if you want to go to a wet lab, they'll hire. They mainly ask for experienced people. That is a big problem which I have faced, and I know about it. So the best part in this is they hire freshers. And I would say you one good thing about this is, when you are joining as a fresher in these companies, the salary that you get as a fresher is like around, it starts from around 2.5. Okay, so in hand you'll get around 18 to 19,000, 18 to 19,000 per month. Okay, in hand. I think according to a life sciences fresher, that is a good salary. What I feel, because if you go and search for wet labs, I have seen people. I know some. I mean, I have some friends as well. They are working in wet labs, and when they started as a fresher, they earned something around, I don't know, maybe 6,000, 7,000 per month. That's really less, right? I mean, you can understand how what it is. So this is a very good part of in this field. It is not a IT work. I'll tell you, it is not. It is a desktop job. You have to work in a desktop definitely, but it is not IT work because I am not. I don't like IT. I'm telling you. So I am working in this field means it is not IT work. Okay, but it is technical work, and your. I won't say that if you're studying immunology, molecular biology, and all these biochemistry, all these subjects in your college. So yeah, those won't be used, that is for sure. But there is something else which is not taught in college, that is clinical research and clinical trial. Okay, so this field is not taught in college, but I would suggest, I don't know if any teacher is there. I mean, I have talked to some people. I know I have contact with Karthik sir, you know, right? Everyone, I think. Karthik sir, you don't know Karthik sir? Okay. I don't know, he is still working on it. Okay, Santosh sir, any one of you, any, you don't. Okay. Oh yeah, Santosh sir is not working now actually. Yeah, I know. He was my guide actually in college. I worked in his lab. So he's one of the best. So anyways, Bharti ma'am and all that, they're there, right? You are from biotechnology only, right? Oh, you are not from biotechnology. Okay, okay, fine. So anyways, uh, okay, so yeah, so these I have talked to few of them. Like I tried telling also that to introduce a subject like this in college so that people get to know about it or get an idea about it, because this field is booming with jobs. Okay, a lot of jobs are there. So I don't know. Let's see. I'll try to contact. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. That and I'll say you, like once you grow in this field, like if you have, suppose I'm telling you, like I'm saying, I have 5 years or so, 5 years of experience now. So after maybe 2 years or 3 years, you'll be earning good salary. Good means it will be like around it will be close to 4 lakhs or something like that. Okay, that is good compared to a life sciences person, and that is comparable to an IT job. You know, IT people, they'll get good salaries. That's what I think. IT people, they'll get good salaries. So, but even life sciences people, they can get if you are into this field. Okay, it's a technical good job, and best part is you'll get to it. It's interesting. You're working in a trial means you can understand. Like you have a lot of responsibilities on yourself. You do a small mistake, that is a big problem in a that can take the life of a subject. It's very delicate, and so you have to be really careful while you're working in this field. So yeah, so that is a big part. And other than this, what else? Like yeah, so I told you there are different fields. So what happens in this is, like, once this entire process is over, like there is a uh, body called as FDA. Okay, Food and Drug Administration. Okay, it's in USA. So what happens, or what they do is, like, they are the final uh, body. They are the final body who approve your trial. Once it is approved by FDA, means your drug can come into the market. So everything, whatever we do, whatever trial is being conducted, everything is done just to submit the entire thing, or the entire process, entire data, whatever is collected in the trial, to FDA. So once FDA approves it, it comes into the market. The drug can come into the market. Even in India, there is a body like that. That is called as DGCA. Okay, I forgot the full form actually. So that is DGCA. So DGCA is equivalent to FDA, but DGCA operates in India. FDA operates in US, and also US is a huge market, right? So once a drug is approved in US means, by FDA means it can come anywhere. Okay, every country has their own body, this regulatory body. So these are called as regulatory bodies. So I'll tell you, clinical data management deals with the validation of the data and everything related to the trial. I'll tell you what each domain deals with. What pharmacovigilance deals with is, uh, once the drug comes into the market, what happens is, like there are a huge number of people who are consuming the drug. Like people from different parts of the country, from all around the world. Once a drug is available in a shop, anyone can buy it, anyone can consume it. So what is done in this is, once they consume, this data, like if they're having any effects on if of the drug on their body, if there is any effect, if there is any side effect of the drug, all these data, these are collected, and these data are reported. Okay, that is called as reporting. These data are reported to the uh, CRO. Okay, so what they do is like they collect this data. Okay, and there is a long process going on in the background. There is a database for pharmacovigilance as well, called as Argus. Okay, the database name is Argus. And what we uh, okay, you sent me some message. So do I need to join that? Hello.
Yes, so you can respond to all of those.
So I'll join that link.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 minute. I don't know. I'm not getting the. I'm not getting the mail or something. I'm not sure.
It's okay, so you can continue the session.
Yeah.
You can continue with the session, so it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So is there a problem?
No, you told you'll send the mail, right, with the link.
No, so there is no link to the mail. The questions will pop up above your box,
Okay, okay,
the right hand side. So you can see all the questions there and answer it.
okay, fine. Okay, so I can continue, right?
Yes, so you can continue.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, pharmacovigilance deals with all the reporting and all. So like once the people in the market they're consuming the drug, they report all the side effects related to the drug, everything, to the pharmacovigilance team in CRO. So then they deal with it. Okay. The third domain is it's a medical writing. Medical writing is, I will say you what it is. So you can understand from the name itself. It's about its writing part. Writing. Okay, so like those who are interested into writing and all, they might like it. So medical writing, what they deal with is like there are few documents. Okay, there are few documents which are used in these trials. So what these people do is like they write those documents. Like there are certain protocols and there are certain guidelines to write these documents. So you need to follow these guidelines and write those documents. So and other than this is medical writing, and also yeah, before the final report is submitted to the FDA after all the trial and everything is conducted. You need to write that report as well. So these are all done by the medical writing people. And the final part is regulatory affairs. Regulatory affairs, what they do is like, yeah, I can't see the questions. I mean, I'm unable to see the questions.
So shall I read them out for you, sir?
Yes, yes, you can read them.
Okay, so the first question is, which is the best CRO out there?
Yeah, right now the best CRO is IQVIA. You can just go through Google as well. It's IQVIA. Second is Covance.
Okay, so the second question is how to get an internship for bio-related departments.
Okay. So see, I would if you're asking about internships, I am not sure if they are providing internships, these people. So I need to ask about that because I haven't seen people doing internships. But yeah, I can ask. That is not a problem. So yeah. Any other questions?
The last question for now is out of all the fields, which field do you suggest the best?
Okay. This is a good question. See, all fields are good, okay. But what I would say is, since I am working in clinical data management, I would always suggest clinical data management because what happens is this the work that you do in clinical data management is good. Okay, it's interesting. You will get to learn a lot of things, and also if you consider work pressure, pharmacovigilance and the other departments they have too much work pressure. Too much work pressure means like it's extreme. Okay, so you might have to work on weekends as well. That happens in the other fields, but in clinical data management, it's good. You get good salary, you get good work, and you can relax as well. So work-life balance is good in clinical data management. So I would prefer clinical data management. Yeah. Any other questions?
No, sir, for now that's all. So you may continue.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, regarding regulatory affairs, so regulatory affairs deals with the submission of these the final documents to the FDA or the other regulatory bodies once the trial is completed. So their job comes at the end. Okay. And yeah, so these are the main four domains. Other than these, there are operations as well. In this, operations is there, and yeah, and also like CRA is clinical research associate. So what these people do, CRA people is like these sites are there, right? So these people have to travel. So they travel to these sites and they have to look into the trial, like from top to bottom, everything related to the trial. They have to look into it, like how the trial is conducted, if all the participants are safe, and yeah. So that is the job of a CRA. So may only if you like to travel means CRA is being a CRA is good. So, but that's like every time you have to travel. So, anyways, so these are a few of the domains or the different domains that are present here. So, and yeah, what else? Like, okay, you can ask me any questions, whatever. If anyone has any questions, you can ask me. So, I have given a basic information like what is the field about and what it is about. Best part is it is related to life sciences, so you get to work into life sciences industry. And I will tell you, there are some IT companies as well who have this department. Okay, Accenture has it, Accenture has it, Cognizant has it, TCS has it, and yeah, right now these three are there, and even Infosys is going to open. Okay, because I have worked in Cognizant before this. I have worked in Cognizant for approximately 3 years before this in the same field. So Cognizant has it, Accenture has it, TCS has it. Infosys is going to open it. From what I have heard, yeah. And but I would suggest you to work in a CRO instead of working in an IT company in these fields, because for a CRO these are the core fields. Okay, so if you're working in a CRO means you get a lot of facilities, you get flexibility, you will love the work. But in IT companies it's like too much work and too less flexibility. I mean facilities are less. So I always prefer a CRO. I have worked in Paraxel first. I mean, my first job was in Paraxel in Hyderabad. I worked there for about a year, and then I shifted to Cognizant in Hyderabad itself. So I worked in Cognizant for approximately around 3 years, and now I'm in IQVIA. It's going to be around a year. So in IQVIA. So see, Cognizant I worked for a longer period of time. I know, but from that experience, I'm saying it's better to work in a CRO. Paraxel was awesome. IQVIA is really good. So there are a lot of other companies you can always look into them. And about internships, I can ask about it, and I can let you know about it. So that is there. So if you have any other questions, you can ask me anything.
So the question is, which is the best part of the job that you personally feel?
Okay. See, the best part of the job is you deal with patients and you deal with patients' lives. So there is a small mistake, and you like there is a huge responsibility on you. Once you get into the field, you'll get to know like there's a huge responsibility on you. So a small mistake from your side make can have large big consequences. So that is why that is one of the best parts. So like you will feel good that you're working for something great. I mean something good. You're working for patients' lives. You're working to save patients' lives or subjects' lives. So that is the best part of this job. What I like.
So another person says, while you were talking about CRA, some technical glitch muted the stream. So can you please tell about that again?
Yeah. See, CRA is the full form of CRA is Clinical Research Associate. Okay. So what this job is about all, it's related to like these trials, like they are carried out at sites. So you have to be present, like when these trials are being carried out in a site, you have to be like you'll be assigned with a site, okay, by the company for whichever company you're working. So you need to be present at the site, and you have to like from top to bottom, you need to take care or look into if the trial is being conducted properly, if all the rules, guidelines, protocol, everything is being followed, if all the if the process is entirely carried out properly. So you need to take care of all that. If you like to travel, it is a good job for you, because most of the times you have to travel in this as a CRA. So yeah.
So the next question is, what are the challenges you face in this one in this field?
What I didn't get you.
So the question is, what are the challenges you feel one faces?
What are the challenges you feel? It's disconnect. It's cutting, I think.
In this field?
Okay, challenges. Okay, challenges is like, see, once you start working in this field, so as a fresher, They obviously, the company for which you work, they train you, definitely they train you, but uh, even you are a human being, so there may be mistakes, right? So there are always mistakes. Even I do mistakes sometimes. Okay, so there may be mistakes. So yeah, sometimes if there are mistakes, means you are working for clients. Okay, so the clients are all pharma companies like Novartis, Pfizer. It can be any pharma company. Okay. Novo Nordisk or any other. So if there is a mistake, depends how grave the mistake is. Okay, if it is a big mistake, you get really bad escalations. Okay, like escalations, I mean, you really get it bad from the client. Okay, and small mistakes means fine, it can be managed by the team or your team manager or team leader, whoever is there. But but you need to take care. Like there shouldn't be like there should be minimal mistake. That is what I mean. So there should be minimal mistake. The chances for a mistake is really low. So that is a big challenge here. So other than this, I don't think there is a big challenge, because even as a fresher, if you are looking for a job, it's not a huge challenge to get a job in this field.
So the next question is, are there a considerable amount of good companies to work in after graduation in life sciences in which a person can actually grow?
Yes. This is what I want to say. This is one of the main reasons which I wanted to do this call actually. If you are coming into this field, there are large number of companies, including IT companies. I told you. Uh, I'll tell you there are around. Uh, if you consider even small companies, there are small CROs as well. So if you consider small CROs as well, there are around total, you can say at least 50 to 60 companies in entire India. Okay, and large CROs, if you consider large companies like IQVIA, Covance, all these, there are around maybe at least 15 companies which are there. Okay, in India.
So the next question is there any preliminary dry lab knowledge required for this job?
No. There is no lab knowledge required in this. The knowledge which you require in this is about clinical trials and clinical research. So I will tell you some things like what you need, what knowledge you require if you want to come to this field. There are phases of clinical trials. Okay, so you need to read about the different phases of clinical trials, about like what is a clinical trial, what is clinical research. This field is actually what are the different phases I told you, and also about the different domains. Like if you want to know about clinical data management, you just read about it. If you want to know about pharmacovigilance, if you want to know about medical writing, so these are some of the basic knowledge which you require. And one of the most important thing in this is ICHGCP. There is a guideline actually which is being followed strictly by everyone while working in this field, starting from the sites to you. I mean, to the person who is working in a CRO, which is ICHGCP. Okay, you can just it's a guideline, you can say. You can just go through it. You can just go through it in Google. You just search as ICHGCP in Google. You'll get to know about it. What are the guidelines? What are the different points in that? It's very easy actually. You just need to know about it. So other than this, you don't require any knowledge. Yeah, you should have basic life sciences knowledge, because they ask for life sciences people only, like basic biology and all that stuff. Because when you go for an interview in a company, you need to give a written exam, like not written exactly, online exam, which consists of aptitude, like basic maths and this reasoning English, and there will be a life sciences part, which consists of basic biotechnology or biology, or you can consider, or maybe any other field which you select. You can select actually. There is biochemistry. There is all these are also there. So depends on you. Any other question? Hello.
Yes, sir. The next question is, are there any good colleges for masters in this field?
See, I'll tell you one thing. If you are going for, I mean, higher studies, if you're going for masters, uh, yeah, definitely it is good for your career, obviously. And like what I have done is like I am doing MBA. I mean, I am doing a professional MBA, not the other one. I'm doing a professional MBA. But if you want to go for MTech or something, so that is good. But what I would suggest is it is better to do an MBA rather than MTech. That is because if you are coming into life sciences field, if you really want to stay into life sciences field, then what happens is if you are a B.Tech or if you are an MTech, that really doesn't matter actually. Because if you are joining as a fresher, the salary that a B.Tech person will get and the salary that an MTech person will get, it is similar. Okay, but if you are doing an MBA, that plays a role. Maybe not when you are joining as a fresher, but in gradually when you grow in this field, that MBA comes into work because you need to manage a team and all that. So that MBA really it's helpful. So yeah, that's what.
So that's all.
Okay,
So
so
you can continue if you have to say anything.
actually I gave a basic idea, so I told everything. So like if anyone has any question, they can always ping me up. I'm always available. So ping me up or mail me or anything. I'm available. Any kind of questions. If you want to know what you want to study, what you have to study, if you require some material to study, some I have some PowerPoint presentations as well. Some PowerPoint presentations as well. So if you want to know, if you want those materials, I can always forward them to you, so that you get a basic idea. So that you get a basic idea about the field. You want to know about the field, anything, you can always ping me up, WhatsApp, email, call me up. No problem. I'm available.
Okay, so thank you. We have now come to the end of today's session.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I would like to extend my word of thanks to
Yeah.
Mr. Paul, who has joined us today despite his busy schedule. I would also like to thank the audience for today's session for being active and asking questions. We would like you all to submit us your feedback on the session by leaving in the comments below. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.